Good morning and welcome to Wednesday's devotions. Today I want to spend a few more moments looking at the life of Hannah, Samuel's mother, as I shared on Monday. And what we find is when she fulfills her vow to bring and dedicate Samuel to God, she brings him to Eli at the temple and then sings a song or a prayer of thanksgiving. And rather like Mary exalts God in that Magnificat, this song or psalm of thanksgiving carries with it a deep commitment to the absolute sovereignty of God. From a woman who was absolutely broken, devastated, and felt completely lost, God turned her life so completely around that she bursts forth into praise and thanksgiving to God. She begins a song like this. She says, "My heart rejoices in the Lord. The Lord has made me strong. Now I have an answer for my enemies. I rejoice because you rescued me. No one is holy like the Lord. There is no one beside you. There is no rock like our God." That's 1 Samuel 2, verses 1 and 2. I have no doubt that part of this song is directed towards Peninnah, Elkanah's other wife, who mocked her and tormented her because she could not have a child. But she goes on from there to place the focus very squarely on how God delivered her and how God was the one who made her strong. God was the one who is the cause of her rejoicing. And there is in her mind no one like the Lord. He is the rock like no other. God is immovable, dependable. He is the one who has come through for her. Hannah goes on to speak about the incredible sovereignty and absolute sovereignty of God and the fact that he controls everything. She goes on to sing, "The Lord brings death and makes alive. He brings down to the grave and raises up. The Lord sends poverty and wealth. He humbles and he exalts. He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. He sets them with princes and has them inherit a throne of honor. For the foundations of the earth are the Lord's, and on them he has set the world. He will guard the feet of his faithful servants, but the wicked will be silenced in the place of darkness. It is not by strength that one prevails. Those who oppose the Lord will be broken. The Most High will thunder from heaven. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth. He will give strength to his king and exalt the horn of his anointed." And that's 1 Samuel 2 and verses 6 to 10. What Hannah teaches us here in her song of thanksgiving is that God brings both death and life, raises up the poor and humbles others. So we may, for instance, experience grief at a funeral on the one hand, and yet celebrate joy on the other at a new birth. Death and life, both are from God. Hannah speaks to us about the fact that we need to recognize that both of these come from God, and ultimately he's in control of every single thing. And she speaks to us about that things don't catch God by surprise, but rather he has a plan in what he takes place. And I love the way she says, he will guard the feet of his faithful servants. Cara and I had a friend who we took walking around Silvermine last weekend, and she tripped and fell, hitting her head on a rock. We were shocked when it happened, and fortunately, although she had some bruises and some pain, it wasn't more serious. But when her fall came to mind, when I read these words, that God guards our feet. And we need his protection so that we don't fall headlong and come to grief. It's God who keeps us in the midst of sometimes really difficult circumstances. Hannah goes on to tell us that it's not by strength that one prevails. Human power is never going to accomplish, and certainly was never going to accomplish what she needed. No amount of sex and no amount of trying would bring about conception in her case. They had tried everything. But when God's time is right, then everything falls into place. God alone can bring about what is not possible by human power. And I don't know what you're facing right now, what trying circumstances or situation you're in. But perhaps it's time for you to stop trying to work everything or work the situation or work the plan and allow God to work. Allow him, in his time, to bring about the thing that will be most significant in terms of all of that. Allow God to work the miracle that you need. God is going to thunder from heaven and bring about what's right in your life. And to tell you the truth, when I think about Hannah, all I remember about her from Sunday school days is that she's the mother of Samuel, and she brought him a new robe every year. And I often wondered, how did she know how much he grew? Because I can tell you this much, when our kids started growing, they would shoot up like weeds sometimes. Apart from Kezia, I guess. But the thing is what we forget and what we don't often read in the Bible are these words. Because this is what the Bible says. But Samuel was ministering before the Lord, a boy wearing a linen ephod. Each year his mother made him a little robe and took it to him when she went up with her husband to offer the annual sacrifice. Eli would bless Elkanah and his wife, saying, "May the Lord give you children by this woman to take the place of the one she prayed for and gave to the Lord." Then they would go home. And the Lord was gracious to Hannah, and she gave birth to 3 sons and 2 daughters. Meanwhile, the boy Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord. And that's 1 Samuel 2:18-21. Hannah gave birth to 5 more children after Samuel. So in the end of the day, she had a whole tribe of kids because she was willing to give everything to God and trust him to work it out. So as you head into this Wednesday, remember these things. God is still Lord in your world, even though it may not feel like it. And even though it may feel like the furthest thing from your mind right now, God is still in control. Secondly, God can and will care for you by guarding your steps if you let him. Allow him to care for you. And as you dedicate everything to him, I guarantee you, you will be overwhelmed with the blessing he will bring into your life. God bless you, and have an absolutely winning Wednesday.